Welcome back to the channel, and if I got some exciting news about the Audi 90 Quattro. After saving this Audi from its untimely demise at the scrapyard, we were able to get it running. But there was one problem. The clutch was completely seized to the flywheel, meaning that the clutch didn't even work. All right, so a lot of people suggested that we yank the car with it in gear while hitting the clutch. Maybe it'll break the clutch free, so we're gonna give it a try. It's just engine's turning over solid, dude. It ain't doing nothing. Accepting defeat, we decided to put the Audi back in the shop so that we could drop the transmission and figure out what was going on with that clutch. Until, check it out. I guess after all those times of moving it in and out of the shop, the clutch decided to finally just break free. I don't have to pull the transmission anymore. So now it runs, it drives, and it stops. Those are the three things I wanted to take care of first, which means now we can move on to the interior because it's a little bit of a biohazard in there, and I'd really like to get it cleaned up. Starting with removing these seats. These seats are in really good shape. They're just a little dry. They need some conditioning. So we gotta take them out. It's been a while since I gutted the interior of my coupe, so I kind of forgot how these seats work. There's two bolts in the front, and then you have to slide the whole seat back on some rails until they come out of the rail. I'm actually a huge fan of this design. It's probably one of the easiest seats that I've ever removed. Yeah. And then the same thing on the other side. And once again, two more screws and the rear seat comes out. But wait. We have a surprise. Uh-oh. Mouse nest. Hopefully these wires are okay. Looks like there's lots of grain in here, so maybe the mice were getting food elsewhere. Here's a little fun fact for you. Do you know why mice chew on wires? It's because the plastic coating is plant-based, usually soy. It's delicious to them. No wonder why they eat it. Fortunately for me, it looks like they were only using the car as a nice warm place to sleep. All the wires are perfect. Unfortunately, there is a wire going through these rear seats, so I wasn't able to remove them completely, but I think I can do a pretty good job cleaning them with it still on there. Moving on to the vacuum, there are pine needles everywhere in this car. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's probably because the car had no door latches when we picked it up. And there's another juicy surprise waiting for us underneath this carpet. But to get the carpet out, you gotta remove the dash, which is also in very rough shape. But that's okay, because I went back to the salvage yard to that Cabrio and I took the whole interior. We got the dash, steering wheel, center console, everything, and not a single crack in sight. All right, now the seats are out, we can work on removing the dash. That was just the first of many times this thing's gonna need to be cleaned. It's disgusting. But once I get the dash out, I can easily remove this carpet. Piece by piece, the dash slowly but surely comes out. I just noticed somebody removed all of the ductwork in here and duct taped it shut. Look at this. Why would they do such a thing? Had I known that, I would have grabbed the duct at the salvage yard. They close in 15 minutes. I don't think I can make it there. Got it. He stayed open late for me. All right, now it's time to remove the dash. And then moving on to that carpet, we are almost done with the gut. And we can start cleaning and put it all back together. I bet you this is all wet from whoever took those door latches. All this came in through those open doors. I don't know why I thought that I could reuse this material. It was very much clearly wasted, but that didn't stop me from pulling out at least a gallon before giving up and throwing it away. But on the other hand, this carpet is definitely savable. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's that massive dent coming up from the bottom of the car. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the first video we noticed these dents, probably caused by a forklift or maybe the rocks they put it down on. But no worries, give me a few hammers in a couple of minutes and I'll get this straightened right out. At least there's no rot, thanks to that galvanized steel. And before I even think about putting any of the material back in here, we gotta give her a quick scrub down because she is soaked in Junkyard juices. I called about every single upholstery place in the area to find this stuff. This is jute. Same stuff as what they had in there, except it's modern. It's a little bit thinner, but I think I have enough to double it up. So the plan here is to try and salvage as much of the original material as I can, especially the formed parts that go over the transmission tunnel and up onto those seats. These parts stayed relatively dry, so I don't think there's any reason to get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to cut off these soggy, moldy parts with these really cheap scissors that worked really, really well. And then we're going to go take that piece that we salvaged and slap it right back in place. And then using the soggy bits that we cut off as a template, we're going to cut some new material. Is this stuff important? I guess it's all preference. A lot of people probably would have just taken it all out and thrown it all away and put the carpet back in without it. But I don't want to cut any corners here, and this stuff's pretty important for insulation, keeping the cab insulated from the hot exhaust. Also, it's a little bit of a sound deadener, and as you'll see, the ductwork is actually recessed inside of it a little bit. So without it, the floor, once you put the carpet in, would be unlevel. Well, now that I've got the insulation all replaced, I'm going to go ahead and add a little extra. We'll just add some dryer sheets in here, just to keep the mildew smell at bay, because there really is nothing you can do about that. It's going to be in the carpet and everything. And this will also keep the mice out. Mice hate dryer sheets, if you didn't know. Well, now that the car is smelling like a laundromat, it's time to put the carpet back in. And now we can replace that missing ductwork. This is the piece that blows air on your feet, front and rear. It's no wonder why the guy got rid of the car. Living in Vermont with no heat must have been miserable. But moving on to the new center console, there's a few things that need to be changed. The old dash has a digital climate control, which doesn't work, but we'll fix that later. The reason we couldn't just swap the whole center consoles was because there was a broken piece and I didn't want to put the broken one back in. So in order to adapt from the analog climate control to a digital climate control, you have to drill out some rivets and transfer over a whole piece that holds the little electronic display. I gotta shave off these screw holes. Apparently the analog one uses these and the digital one doesn't. So you can see they're cut off on there. Cut off from factory. So here we go. And just like that, good as new. Now it's just a case of whether or not I remember where all these plugs go, and we can get it all back together. Next step, steering column. Gotta get these levers on, a plastic cover, the clock spring, and the steering wheel, and then finally, the horn. Now the center console that came out of the Cabrio was for an automatic, but fortunately I'm a hoarder and held on to all the parts out of my coupe Quattro, including the leather boot. But before we can get this installed, there's one more thing we have to take care of. Before I can get this center console on, there's some wires that need to get fixed. Somebody decided to cut them. I don't know why. Don't know what they went to, other than this goes to the cigarette lighter right here. So that takes care of some of these. These go to the cigarette lighter in here, as well as something else. But for the most part, they all match colors. There's a few extras. Blue and white is, I'm assuming, it's the illumination system. So all of these go to little light bulbs. There's a black and blue. I don't know what that goes to, and then the brown is ground. So these three went to some mysterious component, and everything else I pretty much got figured out. So I'm going to get those soldered up so we can get the center console back together. Well, now that I've got all these wires situated, it's time to put that center console in. Just like everything else that came out of the car, the rest of the console was not in any better shape. But it's nothing we can't clean with a little bit of elbow grease. That first scrub is just to get the grime off. We're gonna go over these a few more times. And just like that, we've got a super clean dash and center console finished in the Audi. We'll get to fixing up that shifter knob later. Well, I was putting the interior back in, and I noticed some water stains up in the corners and on the pillars and stuff, which tells me sunroof is most likely leaking. I was gonna hold off doing the headliner because it obviously needs to be done, but I'm pulling the headliner. I'm pulling the whole thing down. Maybe we'll figure out why the sunroof's not working. As you can tell by the pine needles, the sunroof is obviously not sealed properly, so there's a good chance that a lot of that water in that deadener came from the sunroof, but we'll find out. I hate sunroofs. Worst thing on a car, sunroof, especially a car that's going to be sitting for a while. The coupe was really bad. The interior was so bad in the coupe, like every square inch of it was moldy. Everything was rusty. It was disgusting. Here's an example. I'll show you. The center console from the coupe right here. You can't see it's got the cool gauges, but look at this. Rusted ashtray. Everything in there is just crusty. That's basically what the entire car looked like. So I did the only logical thing, and I completely gutted it, and I'm building a rally car with it. And the first thing I did was I cut the sunroof out and welded in a patch panel. So my coupe no longer has a sunroof. There's a lot involved when it comes to removing the headliner, especially in an overly engineered car like the Germans loved to build. As you can see, a lot of these parts needed to come out anyway for demoldification, if that's a word. Gotta be extra careful not to break these pillar pieces. And what do we have here? The stash spot for the mice? That's a lot of seeds. Alright, we got everything disconnected. Now we just got a few clips, and of course they glued it to the sunroof, so you gotta rip that off. I ordered some suede with padding on Amazon, should be here tomorrow, so hopefully I can get this done for this video. I mean, the rest of it looks pretty good, pretty solid. I'll have to get some new glue for where it's glued to the sunroof, but look at this receipt on there. Amy, that's the car's name now, Amy. Amy the Audi. Well, now that we've got Amy's headliner removed, we can go ahead and remove the sunroof and inspect the drains and make sure that we're not leaking from up there. But then I had a thought. How are there so many pine needles on this car and in this car, but no pine sap? On the whole car, there's no pine sap. Very strange indeed. Decided to send some pressurized air down the drain lines of the sunroof, and none of them were clogged, so turns out sunroof probably didn't leak. Which is great news, because now we can move on to the headliner. What do we think of that? It's a little light, huh? Perhaps I should have went with a darker gray, huh? You know what, for what it is, Monday shipping,
it'll look better than that.
It's suede. See that? It's suede. So first thing we need to do is we need to remove the old material, which is kind of gross. And then we need to remove all the foam. Oh, jeez. If there's any hidden messages in there.
Looks like Cheeto dust. At the bottom of a pizza.
Yeah. Alright, now we're about to make a huge mess. because in order to remove all this foam, the fastest way that I've found to do it is like this. You want to make sure you get all of it, or the adhesive will not stick.
Rusty's ASMR. Can you give me some taps on there? Yeah, that's nice.
Why? Why? Unbelievable. Let's buy a cheap iron that spits water. Just put it on.
Is it on the spit water setting?
Yeah, it must be. All this could have been avoided if they rolled the fabric instead of folding it. That would have cost more to ship. Now that we've got all the wrinkles taken out of the headliner material, I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in half, put a layer of spray adhesive on the headliner itself, and then another layer on the back side of the fabric. Wait a couple minutes for it to tack up, and then when you put this on, it's staying on. It's gonna stick immediately, so be careful. Then we're gonna work extra careful to get the material down into all the crevices without stretching it too much, because if you do, that's a spot where it could come off in the future. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other half. Then cut off the extra material, fold it over the back, and we're done. The headliner's all done, and it looks amazing. Could have gone a shade darker, but it is what it is. Now we've got the difficult task of getting the headliner back up in the car without getting any stains on that brand new fabric. It's always a little nerve-wracking putting a brand new headliner in because sometimes it doesn't fit right, but with a little perseverance, you can get everything right back to where it was. Now for the finishing touches, we got end caps. We gotta snap in the ring for the sunroof. And all the while, we've got Emma over here cleaning all the interior bits, like the handles, so they can be ready right when I need them. I don't know what you call this part, but this is going back in, as are the strikers for the seats. These are the seatbelt retractors, and this is actually an explosive device. So if you get into a car accident, it's like an airbag, it's tied into the airbag system. This will lock out your seatbelts. I see a lot of other YouTubers replacing these in cars that they buy. I've actually never worked on a car with them, so I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, moving on, we've got basically the entire interior put together. But Emma had a problem. Her nails were too long for the job and they were causing her discomfort.
Chris will take care of it.
Got you. Fortunately, she was at the right place.
I'm so scared.
Go backwards. Like, hold your hand like this.
I'm scared.
Hurts?
A little bit.
Let's see him.
I can close my hands all the way now.
Well, now that we've got that problem solved, we can move back on to putting the seats back in the car. I hit these seats with a bristle brush and some mothers off camera, but we're not going to stop there. We got to clean these seats one more time with a different solution, and then we're going to hit them with that honey conditioner. Ooh, that sounds like honey. And just like that, we went from this to this. that's it. The interior has been cleaned, assembled, and new headliner, suede. It's looking real nice. Oh, check this out too. After putting it back together, look at the light came on the button for the sunroof, and when you push it, it works. Of course, I already removed the sunroof. Turns out there was a couple broken parts in there, so we're gonna have to weld those up, put it back together. I gotta order a new seal. They stopped making the seal, so I have to find, like, I think I found a BMW seal that might work, but we'll cross that bridge in another video. The only part left of the interior that we haven't touched are the door cards. You can see I took these off. The leather material is separated. Same thing with foam degraded on the inside. We gotta take it apart. I took that one apart. It's not gonna be an easy fix for me. I might drop them off at a professional to have them done right so that it comes out looking good. Headliners I can do no problem, but this is a little tricky. But I can't believe how well the interior turned around. It was a lot of work, but it looks damn good. It looks really good. Aside for the doors. We'll get there. Well, that's all for this week. We made the interior look amazing. Now we just gotta do the same thing to the outside with a twist. I've got a few plans. I'll see you guys next time.